Hello YouTube, my name's Nero, and today we have some more Call of Duty Black Ops 3 news. So where we left off with yesterday's video is basically we got a couple Snapchats sent our way, we got to learn a little bit about the game, and the last piece of information that we had at that video was they changed the official Call of Duty Snapchat to Dr. Salem, right? That's the new name that they put there. Since then, they've released a couple more things, and a lot of things have actually changed. So let's go over that here in this video. To go in the order of the timeline, next up they released this picture, which is a very weird looking picture. It's like, why is there this teal sky? What's up with this? Until you learn that if you actually go ahead and remove the color from the picture, bam, it says Dr. Salem right there above the moon / sun. We can't really tell which one it is. It's very interesting that they would do something like that where you have to adjust the picture that they sent you, but that would actually prove very helpful, because if you go on to Black Ops 2 today, there's a brand new message of the day. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes indeed, there's a brand new message of the day. So it begins with this picture of a tree. It has that same kind of teal. Now let's go ahead and zoom in on that. Alright, now we're zoomed in. Let's go ahead and remove all the color from this. Interesting, I'm starting to see something. Now let's go ahead and remove a little bit more brightness from this, and then bam, we have a logo. Now this particular logo was made by a guy that goes by the name of LiamFTWinter, so you can check him out on Twitter. There's going to be a link in the video description over to him. He's the one that actually did the graphics design on this logo to try and recreate what we see here in this picture. It looks like a trident, definitely looks like there's 3 there, Black Ops 3, that kind of idea. Very interesting if they would go ahead and do this. So aside from that, they had a small quick update for Call of Duty Black Ops 2 as well today, which sadly I missed. I wasn't able to actually record it, but apparently what they did is they actually removed certain letters and certain numbers from certain guns, and then they had that stayed for a little bit. Then after a little while, they ended up putting all the numbers and letters back onto the guns. Picture like a quick hotfix kind of update, similar to on April Fool's in Advanced Warfare, where they made it so for a small period of time, whenever you would use your exo abilities, it would make like a clown nose honking noise. They had like that for like, I don't know, an hour or so, then they changed it back, right? They can do that via hotfixing, and they hotfixed Black Ops 2 apparently to remove certain numbers and certain letters from things. Now, for example, the ballista did not have the B in it, apparently. The 1 in +100 score that you would get in, say, Team Deathmatch would not show up. The 4 in AN94 was not there. It was just called the AN9. L was apparently removed completely, and the 7 in MP7 was apparently removed, making it just the MP. Now, if you take all the letters that were actually removed and the numbers that were removed, it spells out BL147. And that's all we really know about that. That was a quick hotfix update that they ended up doing to the game. They took out certain letters and numbers, and then they ended up putting them back in there. So it's only for a small period of time that was available. Not too much information is actually known about this at this time. They ended up releasing more Snapchats. So let's go ahead and check out the first one here.
Imagine somewhere calm. Imagine somewhere safe. Imagine yourself in a frozen forest.
There we go. It says, imagine somewhere calm, imagine somewhere safe, imagine yourself in a frozen forest. Now, we're going to go ahead and look at different screenshots I decided to take here for you guys. Right here, very obvious, we see ourselves in a river, kind of like something you would see in a forest. Of course, we see a bunch of crows right here, which is kind of interesting. Here we see the actual frozen forest itself from that Snapchat, but here's something I find to be particularly interesting when I was going through these. There's 3 different instances throughout that small little video clip they've given us where they show flies, and at the end, the flies kind of die, and I don't know what this means. I don't think it really means necessarily anything. It could just be fodder, it could just be there to kind of distract us, or could just be part of the ambience, I suppose, of the videos that they send. But there's this first picture here, you see some bugs sitting there. They basically look like flies, right? And then you go here, you see a kind of a closer up version of them. You can see the little legs on the one there on the left. And then in the final picture there, the guy on the left ended up actually dying. The little bug guy ended up dying, and that's more towards the end of the video they ended up sending. But not that much is actually known about this. Of course, they show the frozen forest, which is interesting because a lot of people are talking about the idea of this game being set in Vietnam. And of course, there wasn't really any snow in Vietnam. That wasn't part of the war, really. But of course, the Cold War itself, and if you were to include Russia and things like that, then snow would definitely feature a big role in that. And they ended up releasing one more Snapchat video, but this one has no actual commentary to it, like no voiceover, no narrator, no input from this Dr. Salem that we've been seeing. But it is pretty interesting. Let's take a look at it. Now, what a lot of people are thinking this is actually kind of like a CAT scan of the human brain in a way. Now, if you actually watch the video itself and you kind of break it down frame by frame, you can actually see that there's a bunch of blobs and whatnot going on. That's what it really looks like in the video. But there's also instances throughout the video where you can see flashbacks of soldiers walking that we saw in the prior Snapchat videos that were sent out. So it kind of looks like it's flashbacks to Vietnam in a way somehow. But what's kind of interesting about this whole thing is if you go ahead and you combine all of these Snapchat videos together, this is what we get.
Listen only to the sound of my voice. Let your thoughts drift. Let the bad memories fade. Let peace be upon you. Imagine somewhere calm. Imagine somewhere safe. Imagine yourself in a frozen forest.
What this looks like to me, right? What this looks like to me is Dr. Salem, right? Is a person that is going to be obviously a big role in this game, this Dr. Salem guy, but it looks like he's talking to somebody. Again, we don't know who this somebody is as of yet. Right now, maybe they have a history in Vietnam. We've seen pictures of that. We think that they may have a history in Vietnam, but it sounds like he's either a therapist or he is sitting there trying to hypnotize somebody, but perhaps he's trying to put somebody to sleep and now they're performing some kind of operation. Something is happening with this person's brain. Right? He's trying to calm him down. He's like, all right, just relax. You have to listen to the words, try and get away all your bad memories, try and relax, put yourself in a frozen forest, you know, and then suddenly we see like all this like brain activity in the final Snapchat. And then of course we get to hear like the sound of a machine in the background, which kind of sounds like the machine from like a CAT scan. Like I looked up videos of CAT scans. It kind of sounds like it, but at the exact same time, kind of not, because CAT scan machines kind of sound like a vacuum in a way as compared to that, which was more of like just a ringing more than anything else. So I don't know, but from the timeline that we've seen so far, it's definitely looking like this Dr. Salem guy is talking to somebody. That somebody's probably maybe going to be the main character of this next game that they're going to be having. And aside from that, we don't really know too much about it. It's all up for speculation. A lot of people are trying to look into that logo. They're trying to look at logos like, how does that play into the role? How does that fit? A lot of people are looking up like World War II Trident and looking up how the Trident was used, like codename Trident and things like that in World War II. They're looking up stuff like that in Vietnam and how this stuff could possibly relate. A lot of people are looking up information on different doctors, like a Dr. Salem that might have been enlisted in some of the armies or something back in World War II. We really don't know too much about it right now. If I were to give any speculation, I'm just going solely based upon what we actually have, what's actually being sent out by the Call of Duty Snapchat, and that is there's a Dr. Salem. One's going to assume he's the therapist guy speaking in the videos, and he's talking to somebody, putting them to sleep, and then I believe via the final Snapchat that we've gotten so far, that some kind of operation, something is going wrong, something is happening right there, and we're going to be learning a bit more about that, of course, with future Snapchats and stuff that Call of Duty themselves is actually going to send out. So that is today's video, covering all of the news that is going on with Black Ops 3 for you guys with the information we currently have. Like I said in yesterday's video, keep in mind that this stuff can be updated at any time. They could send out a Snapchat like that, bam, more information's out there for you guys. So once again, like I said in yesterday's video, go to the link in the video description. I'll take you over to a Charlie Intel article where they're keeping you up to date, up to the minute almost with this information. Anytime something new ends up coming out, and you guys can follow it there. Of course, I will be making videos of this stuff as it comes out, but I want to wait for a lot of information to come out at once rather than saying, hey, look, they changed their name over on their Snapchat. I guess that's the end of the video because that's all the information I have. I want to wait for a bunch of information to come out before I make a video showing you guys a whole bunch of awesome stuff that they're revealing to us about Call of Duty Black Ops 3. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating where you guys feel it deserves. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Update time. I told you guys at any given time they can go ahead and update us with more information, more Snapchats. They can send out more things at any given time. That's why I say check out the link down in the video description to stay up to date with the stuff as it happens. While editing together this video, they put out a brand new Snapchat. Let's go ahead and get a look at that right here. And there it is. Basically, we see birds, crows specifically. We saw them, and they're just kind of flocking and flying around. You hear them just going caw, 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 like crows usually do. But here's something interesting. At the end of that little clip, we see this animal right here. Looks like a fox, in my opinion. Could be a wolf, but more or less a fox, I think. And we see that towards the end. What does this mean? I don't know. But that is the latest Snapchat they've actually sent out. And once again, this was actually sent out while I was editing together the rest of the video you guys already saw. So much information about this. I'm looking forward to making another video tomorrow. Hopefully, they send out some more stuff overnight, and we can kind of get a little bit more context as to what this may possibly mean. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys later.